GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Mark Beaumont. Tonight we'll break down the province's emergency approval to raise waste piles at Terrebonne landfill and a scorching humidex of 44 that's making the city feel like a sauna. Traffic's light despite some roadwork, and we'll hear about a big community clothing drive. Over to you, Emma.
The Carry Festa parade will roll through downtown Montreal this Saturday, featuring over 50 Caribbean bands, dancers, and vibrant floats beginning at noon near Place Jacques Cartier.
The procession will travel along St. Paul Street, pause at Rue Saint-Denis for a live steel pan showcase, and expects around 10,000 spectators.
Admission is free, with local community groups providing water stations, and the Montreal Police Service coordinating crowd safety alongside volunteers from the Caribbean Cultural Association.
The streets will pulse with rhythm and color, bringing neighborhoods together this Saturday. Lots to get to. Let's begin as families gather for music, dance, and shared celebration. Good evening, Montreal. Quebec's government granted emergency approval today to temporarily raise the height of waste piles at the province's largest landfill in Terrebonne, north of the island. The decision allows operators to stack garbage higher than current limits while the site, which handles the majority of the region's refuse, approaches its capacity ceiling. Officials said the landfill is expected to reach full capacity in under a year, prompting the swift regulatory move. The temporary expansion is intended to buy time for the province to develop longer-term solutions, such as new disposal sites or increased recycling rates. Environmental groups have voiced concern about potential impacts, but the government emphasized the measure is strictly limited in duration and scope. The authorization comes as municipalities across the area face rising waste volumes during the summer months.
Yesterday, the region endured a sweltering heat wave that pushed the humidex to 44 in Montreal and 42 in Quebec City. Meteorologists said the combination of high temperatures and thick humidity created conditions that felt far hotter than the thermometer alone indicated. The same system has been battering Quebec, Ontario, and the Maritimes for several days, driving uncomfortable levels across the province. Health officials reminded residents to stay hydrated, avoid strenuous activity during peak hours, and check on vulnerable neighbors. Public cooling centers opened in community hubs, while transit agencies warned of possible service delays as equipment strains under the heat. Emergency services reported an uptick in heat-related calls, underscoring the intensity of the weather. Authorities will continue to monitor the pattern as forecasts suggest the heat could linger into the weekend.
Police will conduct a raid today on a residence suspected of serving a migrant smuggling operation. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police announced the operation, saying the home is believed to have been used to facilitate illegal movement of people across the border. Officers are expected to take 2 individuals into custody during the sweep. Authorities have not released the identities of the alleged smuggler or the migrant involved. The investigation forms part of a broader effort to dismantle networks that profit from human trafficking. No injuries have been reported, and the RCMP said the operation was planned in coordination with local law enforcement partners. The dwelling sits in a residential neighborhood, and neighbors were told to avoid the block while officers secure the scene. Police say the operation follows months of surveillance and intelligence work aimed at curbing illegal migration routes. Further details are expected to emerge as the situation develops.
Yesterday at the classic d'Athlétisme de Montreal, 19-year-old pole vaulter Gabriel Jeanist vaulted to a new city record, eclipsing the previous mark that had stood for several seasons. The breakthrough came during the final round of the meet, where Jeanist cleared a height that officials confirmed as the highest ever recorded at the competition. The crowd erupted in applause as the bar fell, and meet director Marie-Claude Boussachar announced the new mark on the stadium's scoreboard. Coaches praised his technique and the calm he displayed under pressure, noting the disciplined training that has defined his rise in the sport. The record adds a fresh highlight to the annual meet, which draws the province's top athletes. Jeanist, who trains at the university's athletics center, said the result validates months of work. The record will be entered into the meet's archives and serves as a benchmark for aspiring vaulters across the province.
71 households continue to sleep in a downtown hotel as the city struggles to secure permanent housing, Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada said today. The mayor noted that the tally of families placed in temporary hotel rooms has doubled since last year, underscoring a sharp rise in displacement across the island. City officials say the emergency accommodation is intended as a short-term stopgap while social housing units are prepared, but the growing backlog has stretched resources thin. Housing advocates warn that the surge reflects broader affordability pressures, and the municipal government is reviewing its rapid response plan. Ferrata urged all relevant departments to accelerate placement into stable residences, emphasizing the city's responsibility to protect vulnerable families amid an increasingly precarious rental market. At a council briefing, officials outlined a proposal to convert vacant office space into interim units, hoping to ease the pressure before the fall housing cycle begins. Coming up, a youth group's big clothing drive on July 3-4, plus a surprise story. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's pick up where we left off, and now over to Emma Leclerc for the local stories that matter to Montreal.
Emma Leclerc, a local youth group called Équipe Jeunesse, is gearing up for a 2-day clothing drive starting tomorrow and continuing Sunday. Volunteers will collect donated garments and basic supplies at several drop-off points across the city, aiming to support people facing precarious housing situations. Organizers say the initiative responds to an expected surge in homelessness during the peak moving season, when many families relocate and some end up on the streets. The drive will run from the morning of July 3rd through the evening of July 4th, with partners from community centers and local businesses providing space and publicity. Residents are encouraged to bring clean clothing, shoes, blankets, and toiletries to the designated locations. Organizers hope the influx of donations will help fill gaps in shelter resources as the city navigates the seasonal uptick.
Gabriel Diallot's run at Wimbledon ended today after a grueling 5-set battle in the second round. The Canadian faced Italy's Lorenzo Sonigo, and despite pushing the match to the limit, fell short as Sonigo clinched the final set. Diallot, who entered the tournament with hopes of advancing deep into the prestigious grass court event, fought back from a deficit twice before the decisive moment slipped away. The loss removes him from the men's singles draw, ending Canada's hopes for a breakthrough at this year's championships. Sonigo moves on to the third round, while Diallot returns to his base, where he will reassess his season and upcoming tournaments. Fans who followed the match noted the intensity of the rallies and the narrow margins that decided the outcome. The match drew a lively crowd, with spectators applauding both players for their perseverance and skill.
CF Montreal is set to announce the arrival of Venezuelan midfielder Danny Pereira today, ending his 6-season stint with Austin FC. The former MLS draft first overall pick will don the Rouge et Blanc jersey as the club looks to bolster its midfield for the upcoming campaign. Pereira, who began his professional career in the United States, brings experience from over 100 MLS appearances and a reputation for dynamic playmaking. Club officials said the move reflects a strategic push to add depth and creativity ahead of the new season. Fans can expect to see him in the squad lineup later this week as training ramps up. The signing marks a notable shift for both teams, with Austin FC opening a roster spot and Montreal gaining a player eager to make an impact in his first Canadian club.
After the national holiday on July 1st, streets across the city became cluttered with discarded mattresses, refrigerators, washing machines, and wooden dressers. Residents who cleared out basements and garages left the items on sidewalks, creating obstacles for pedestrians and traffic. City crews arrived the following day but could not remove the bulk of the debris. Municipal officials confirmed that a comprehensive collection will take place on Tuesday, when trucks equipped to handle large appliances will sweep the affected avenues. The delay means neighbors will have to navigate the temporary obstruction for several more days. Authorities noted that the surge in post-holiday waste has strained the regular curbside pickup schedule, prompting the special operation. The city urges anyone with further items to wait for the scheduled pickup, rather than leaving additional objects on the road.
Travelers at Montreal Trudeau International Airport are voicing frustration over a newly created ride-share pickup zone for Uber and Lyft. The zone, opened on July 1st, replaced the previous arrangement and has quickly become a source of congestion. Passengers report long waits and cramped spaces, while drivers struggle to navigate the narrow area. Even a modest flow of riders creates bottlenecks that spill onto nearby traffic lanes, prompting complaints from both riders and airport staff. Airport officials say the dedicated zone was intended to streamline pickups, but the reality on the ground shows heightened tension and delays. Several riders said the wait caused missed connections, adding pressure to the terminal's tight schedule. The situation remains ongoing as the airport evaluates possible adjustments to ease the pressure on commuters and service providers.
Now let's check how tonight's heat will feel across the city with our weather team.
And intensifying westward, jet fuels a dry high, pushing temperatures toward record summer extremes across Montreal. July 2nd carries Montreal's all-time heat mark of 35.3 degrees Celsius set in 2018, a blistering spike that arrived with a persistent ridge and a southerly surge. The coldest reading for this date sits at 13.2 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2016 during an unusual early summer Arctic dip. By contrast, the climatological average for today hovers near 29 degrees high and 19 degrees low, underscoring how today's 31 degrees feels well above normal, but still shy of the historic peak. The live radar shows a quiet canvas over the island and surrounding waters. No echoes of rain or snow are present, confirming the dry, stable air mass that the rising high pressure has ushered in. With the westward jet steering any disturbance well north of the province, we expect the clear sky to persist through the evening, only to give way to a thin veil of cloud after sunset. Turning now to tonight's outlook. At 6 p.m. Montreal sits at 31 degrees with a clear sky and humidity around 46%. A gentle southwest breeze blows at 15 kilometers per hour, gusting to 30, while near-average pressure is nudging upward, sealing in the warmth. The westward jet stream aloft, moving at roughly 114 kilometers per hour, reinforces the ridge that is keeping moisture at bay. The UV index reads 7, and sunset will arrive at 8:46 p.m. By 7 p.m., clouds will creep in, dropping temperatures to 29 degrees as the night deepens. A heat warning and a severe thunderstorm watch remain active for the island and surrounding municipalities, so remain alert. With the atmosphere remaining stable, we now look ahead to the 5-day trend. The next 5 days stay firmly under the influence of the high-pressure dome. Friday brings a high of 31 and a low of 21 under clear skies, while the jet remains aloft, preventing any rain. Saturday cools slightly to a high of 29 and a low of 19, still clear and dry. Sunday and Monday see a modest cloud deck moving in, holding highs at 28 with lows near 19, but the moisture stays aloft, so precipitation stays off the ground. Tuesday clears again with a high of 29 and a low of 20, offering a brief return to sunshine. Temperatures will swing within a narrow band, and the heat and thunderstorm alerts stay in place through the period. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Next, traffic alerts, the Carré Festa Parade and Fireworks Festival, plus Sagebland's $160 million hotel investment. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Road crews are blocking Rue Berry between Rue Charrier and Rue Ontario Est, creating a moderate slowdown. Drivers should divert onto Rue St. Laurent or Rue St. Denis to stay moving. A minor obstruction remains on Avenue de Lorimier between Rue de Rouen, where a single-lane blockage adds a few minutes of delay. The best detour is to use Rue St. Denis heading east, then cut onto Rue St. Laurent. Ongoing roadwork on St. Denis Street between de Maisonneuve Boulevard East and St. Catherine Street East continues to shave a few minutes off traffic, especially during the afternoon rush. Expect reduced speed and occasional stop and go in that corridor. Aside from these sites, the rest of the network is flowing freely. Transit services are running on schedule with no reported interruptions. Keep an eye on the radio for any sudden updates, and allow a little extra time if your route crosses any of the mentioned streets.
The streets of St. Catherine come alive as the Carré Festa Parade rolls through today, a burst of Caribbean color, reggae rhythms, and dance that turns downtown into a moving celebration, a perfect excuse to step outside and soak up the island vibe. Just a short ride north, the International Percussion Festival in Verdun erupts with over 500 drummers, percussionists, and workshop leaders across 3 stages, giving music lovers a chance to feel the beat up close. For a touch of wonder, Montreal Completement Cirque spreads free circus performances from Place Ville-Marie to hidden corners, inviting families and curious passersby to marvel at daring aerial acts and playful street shows. Looking ahead, the Montreal Comic-Con opens tomorrow at the Palais des Congrès, promising 3 days of comics, video games, and pop culture panels, while the Jazz Festival continues its summer run with free outdoor concerts that keep the city swinging. And now here's Jason with sports.
Here's the latest on Montreal sports, from the Canadiens to city honors. CBC Sports reports the Montreal Canadiens have dealt forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. The move ends Gallagher's tenure with the Habs, where he was a longtime presence, and opens a new chapter in Vancouver. According to CBC Sports, the city of Montreal honored Canadiens forward Brendan Gallagher with an honorary citizenship at a ceremony held Thursday afternoon in City Hall. The civic recognition highlights Gallagher's contributions both on the ice and within the community. Montreal honored officially forward Brendan Gallagher with honorary citizenship at City Hall on Thursday afternoon, June 25. The ceremony recognized his contributions to the Canadiens and the community, cementing his lasting legacy beyond the rink. Goaltending legend Carey Price was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame, joining the 2026 class alongside Pekka Rinne, Keith T. Tkachuk, and Cindy Curley. The Montreal native's induction underscores his lasting impact on the franchise.
Sageland Investments, right in the heart of downtown Montreal, is making headlines with a bold new chapter for our city's hospitality scene. Over the past 18 months, the firm has poured roughly $160 million into buying and renovating 4 Quebec hotel properties, including the iconic Vogue Montreal downtown and the historic former Hotel Place du Puy near Berry-UQAM. Those upgrades are already breathing fresh life into the streets, creating jobs and giving travelers a modern taste of Montreal's charm. Sageland says the moves signal a firm belief that tourism is on the rise, and the company plans further acquisitions to expand its portfolio. It's a reminder that local investors who trust our neighborhoods can turn vision into vibrant, welcoming spaces for everyone. And later, we'll celebrate 19-year-old Gabriel Genus soaring to a new Montreal pole vault record. Stay with us for that uplifting moment.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches, no middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
In the heart of the plateau, the cobblestone stretch of Rue Saint Laurent is already humming with anticipation. Vendors have unfurled colorful canopies, and the scent of sizzling suya mingles with fresh-baked baguettes as Montreal prepares for the return of the Afro-Monde Festival, set to light up the city from August 6 to 9. Local musicians, young drummers from the neighborhood, seasoned griots from the diaspora, are tuning their djembes and guitars beside a makeshift stage that will soon pulse with rhythm. Chef Aïcha Diop, who grew up in Montreal's Little Burgundy, is chopping bright orange carrots for a tagine that will simmer for hours, while children watch eyes wide as she adds a pinch of cinnamon that smells like sunrise over the savannah. When the first beat drops on the evening of August 6, the crowd sways as one, strangers becoming family, sharing plates of jollof rice and stories of distant homelands. In that moment, the city's diversity feels less like a tapestry and more like a living, breathing heartbeat. That shared rhythm reminds us why Montreal feels like home.
At Place des Festivals, the summer air hums with the chatter of families, cyclists, and tourists who have gathered on the grassy knoll for an unexpected treat. Tonight, the iconic parody musician, Weird Al Yankovic, steps onto the stage set against the glittering skyline of downtown Montreal, his presence a surprise gift from the Just for Laughs festival. Emma Leclerc, you can feel the excitement ripple through the crowd, a blend of curiosity and the promise of a night where every lyric is a smile waiting to happen. A troupe of local street performers winds through the audience, handing out bright stickers shaped like accordion keys, while the scent of fresh grilled poutine drifts from nearby food trucks. The first chords of Eat It launch the crowd into a chorus that swells like the St. Lawrence on a high tide, strangers linking arms, laughing at familiar jokes that have become a shared language. When the final note fades, the applause rolls across the plaza, a reminder that music can bring us together on a summer evening in Montreal.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunset. Today's highlight was Gabriel Genus soaring to a new pole vault record, a proud moment for our city. We appreciate your engagement and look forward to bringing you more stories tomorrow, and keep an eye on the community updates we'll cover. Stay safe, stay curious, and see you then.